Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Nitro Racing League here on the channel. It's been about a week or so since it's been on the channel. Last week I actually decided to take off. It was Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte Motor Speedway and I didn't feel like doing that long of a race. So that's why I did not do that and you did not see it on the channel. But we come through into Atlanta Motor Speedway. I should mention that Charlotte, the whole weekend, the Trucks, Xfinity, and Cup race was all swept by the same driver, and that was the rookie of the 14 of Mahu, who picked up his first career win here in the Cup Series. He was absent for this race, so you will not see him on track, but he would join the list of winners for this season now as he would get underway, though, here from Atlanta Motor Speedway. So quite the race on the way for you guys here today. Stage 1 would end when we hit lap 41. Stage 2 comes to a close when we hit lap 81, and then the race ends when we hit lap 161. So a good length race here, 160 laps obviously now, as we were underway here as we went down into turns 1 on the second lap, and being on the outside for this race was a huge disadvantage, but at the very start of this race you could see I really wasn't losing any ground, but everybody of course was still just trying to get sorted out, get a feel for what's going on, so the outside really only worked at this point in the race, and then after that it was just downhill from there if you were on the top. So you want to be at the bottom no matter what all race long, and of course that always creates issues when whoever the leader is, they're forced into blocking at all costs to the inside because it's your only opportunity to win a race. So it's interesting how it works out. It's like I said, you have to block, but also you have to make a move and try to get under the leader at all costs, and that sometimes means going off of the track. So as you can tell by the title of this episode as well, there is a suspension. We're going to go over that and I'll show what happened later in the race about why there is a suspension and who it is, of course, now, as we were trying to move our way back towards the top 5. As you guys know, only top 5 in Nitro get stage points, so if you're new to maybe the Nitro Racing League videos on the channel, that gives you a bit of an idea of how that works out. So we were kind of settling out here in P11 on this 12th lap, so just kind of taking it easy. I really wasn't pushing the issue or anything now, and everybody was trying to cover that bottom lane, of course, so it was getting a little bit tougher and tougher to pass, because once someone gets to the top especially, they will pinch the guy on the bottom down as hard as they possibly can, and that was also something that was frustrating some people here and there as we came through. Now a little bit later on lap 15 we were up inside the top 10 passing the 94 Vetti. We also got past our other teammate of Jay in the 79 or 74, whatever that number is on that car, but out of turns 4 now on at lap 17 we got past the 4 of Christian. We got up the inside of the 24 there of Venom, and then as we went down towards turns 1 behind Matt, he would cover that bottom there in P6. As you guys know, he won the Daytona 500 earlier this season. He will be in the playoffs now as we come through out of turns 2, and obviously we won the last race we did at Richmond, so hopefully we can back that up with the victory here today. We won this race last season in dramatic fashion against the 9 of Andrew Wisdom. When we came together on the final lap, it looked like there was lag involved. It was a race where I was lagging the whole time. I still stand by that I did not lag on that last lap there when we had that contact, but nonetheless we would continue on, and in this race there was some contact between myself and Eddie after I hit the apron, and that really made both of us lose ground. That was all on me there, just stupidity on myself, making a mistake, and then I make another mistake into turns 3, leave the door wide open there for Jay and Eddie to go through on the inside. But now green flag pit stops were getting closer and closer here as we were having a good green flag run here, and we had already had another car or two actually come into the pit lane already, so we were getting prepared to come into the pit lane out of turns 4. Now actually the 17 car got crashed coming into the pit lane, so everybody knew he was pitting, but the 24 car actually unfortunately ran into him when he was coming into the pits, turned him around, and you can see the ground that he lost from that. So now Venom actually gets back in front of me. We're coming in this lap, and then for some reason the 24 goes on the apron, comes back up in front of the 73 as it is of Jay. He goes around. We all get back going down into the pit lane, so yeah, we're going to come in. There's a crash in front of us at the same time as well, and we get down to the pit lane as this crash is happening. The caution comes out, and so that would put it in a position where we were all able to stay on the lead lap because we were already on the pit lane. We could do our pit stop, we could do the wave round, take no penalty whatsoever. So we all came back into the pit lane, so we took a position hit and we were down here in P12 for the restart. So now only, 9 or 10 laps left in this first and opening stage, and we're nowhere near a position to get stage points now as Jay was out in front at this point. So we were way back here in about P11, just of course looking for that opportunity to get back down to the inside now, but unfortunately that wasn't going to happen quite yet, as they're going to go 3 wide, maybe even 4 wide just about in front of us there as I get into the back of the 94 of Annie as we come through out of the corner. So we were really stacked up. Now we were just about 3 wide there. I made sure I covered that 47 off to make sure he couldn't get to my outside, and then he gets put in the wall wall actually by the 21 now as we came through, looking up that right-hand side of the 32. But out of turn, so you can just see the speed myself and Eddie had. We were really fast compared to these Fords right here at this point in the race, and we were just going up to the second lane and just hauling the mail right now as Jay was continuing to lead for a brief amount of time over the 9 of Andrew Wisdom. Now Andrew, of course, already has a win as well recently at Phoenix Raceway. He will be in the playoffs as we were 3 wide for a brief moment down this front straightaway towards turns 1, closing in towards the end of this first and opening stage. Now as we would make this third lane work to our advantage, we get clear of the Fords, and myself and Eddie would just continue marching our way forwards. We got up to P5 and P6 with 2 laps to go in the stage. Caution comes out because of a crash, and that sets us up for this right here. A 1-lap dash to decide the top 5 for stage 1. I was able to actually get down in front of Chaffee. I didn't take it though. I decided to play it nice now and actually let him have the inside, but it was a very awkward restart. Jay holding on to the last stage point. I told him in the party we were in over Xbox, I said, I'm just going to defend you. I'm going to make sure you get this final stage point. I'm just going to ride here in P6 now. They were going 3, almost even 4 wide behind us now, but Andrew Wisdom, he leads the way out of turns 4. He is going to win stage 1, and I just continue to defend for Jay, and he sure enough gets P5, and we settle for P6. So we come into the pit lane, take 4 tires, 2 cans of fuel and whatnot, and I didn't really want to adjust the car, so I left it the same as it usually was, and then we would get back underway for the start of the second stage, where I have a horrendous restart, by the way. So not what we were looking for there, and as well we're on the outside, so it gets even worse from that viewpoint as well, because we just can't go anywhere on the outside. So you're just looking for that hole to open up there on the bottom. I was hoping it was coming. It almost happens right here with the 95 of Connor between him and the 10 of Chaffee. Unfortunately, it didn't quite happen, so we just have to continue riding up here on the top, and unfortunately we would just start to drop like a rock because the opportunity to get to the inside just wasn't happening. You can see how close I was right there with the 95 of Connor. I was honestly clear a little bit into turns 1, but didn't even realize it at that point in time. So once again, like I said, we would just start dropping like a rock because we just could never find that opportunity to get down to the inside. So now down to P11 here with Smoke GT in the 2 car up my inside. The 41 forces it up the inside just about of him, but then lets him back in line, it looks like there. So we were now outside of the top 10 as we came through to the 49th lap, but still no opportunity here to get to the inside, so I'm just hoping that something opens up. And finally on lap 52 we were down to P16, and I had my chance to get to the bottom behind the 95 of Connor, who had some type of issue, and now he was back here with us as well. So I was using him as my guide to get through these cars here, because I don't know what was going on with the Fords tonight. I think they honestly just missed the setup or something, because they definitely looked like they were struggling compared to usual now. So I was just continuing to follow the 95 here of Connor through the field as we went down towards turns 1. We were just trying to get past now the 48, and then we could be set free and then try and run down the main group of cars. So now on lap 55 you see the 95 and the 48, they kind of come together a little bit into turns 1. We now have Bryce behind us in the 18 as well, another teammate as we exit turns 2. Andrew Wisdom, by the way, continuing to lead the way as we go down towards turns 3. And then of course we're looking at potential green flag pit stops on the way again soon now, as Bryce unfortunately right here out of turns 4 on lap 59, he was able to get up my inside as we went down this front straightaway. So we're going to, again, lose a couple of positions there, but fortunately we were able to get down actually in front of the 48 of Tyler, who I believe actually just decided to let me in. So thank you, Tyler, for that. But then it gets a little bit crazy here. Now on lap 62, up in front of us, we had run down this main pack of cars, and they all start coming together as we come through to turns 4. The 17, he comes into the pit lane, by the way. Now this time he doesn't get hit by someone and turned around, but these guys are going at it. The 10 of Chaffee into the outside wall, and he keeps it going in the right direction, I believe. But of course he loses a bunch of ground because of that incident right there, but that really wasn't the end of it here as I continue to follow Bryce out of turns 2, but the 32 all the way to the inside. Now Connor, he's going to go even lower and make a 3 wide with both him and the 32 of Eagle, and then the 20 of Jonathan, but it unfortunately didn't work out because he clipped that apron, so he checks up, and now out of turns 4 it's going to get even crazier. The 95 to 18, they come together. There goes Connor through the grass. The 20 of Jonathan, he's in the wall. All of the Toyotas coming together here as we went down this front straightaway. Out of turns 4 now on lap 68 though, we had settled things out. I come into the pit lane a little bit earlier than what I needed to, and then eventually we would cycle out here, and we were only in 8th place. So it wasn't looking great at this point now, as once again I should remember or mention that stage 2 ends when we hit lap 81. So we were closing in right at the end of this second stage, and it was looking like it was going to stay green likely here for the whole length of stage 2 at this point now. So I was just trying to run down these guys, and sure enough we would run down Matt, we would run down the 32 here as we came through at a turns 4, and now we would get up to P7, and then myself and Matt actually we were just trying to help Bryce get stage points at this point now. So he was holding on to that 5th spot, that final position to get a stage point. Or I guess I should say Matt was trying to make sure Bryce got that stage point. I didn't feel like waiting around. I wanted to try and get those stage points as well, because with only one win this season, we're not legitimately safe to make it in the playoffs just off that one win. So I'm still trying to get as many points as I can, but this is now the final lap of stage 2. Andrew Wisdom wins stage 2 again, sweeps the first 2 stages. We come through to cross the line at P7. So we came into the pit lane again for 2 cans of fuel, 4 fresh tires. I made some slight adjustments here because Eddie made some adjustments that we were told about, and he actually gained a lot of speed from it seemed like. So I decided to make those same adjustments to see if it would help my car here, especially for this third and final stage, which comes to an end when we hit lap 161. So we would get ready to go back green here. I was on the inside from the choose cone. Now as I chose the outside here and there, and it just never worked, of course, because it's not a good idea to go up to the top when you're at a track where the top doesn't work. So we were back underway though on lap 84 with Andrew Wisdom trying to close out the deal and get his 2nd win on the season. Of course, 2 wins on the season will 100% guarantee you into the playoffs. So of course you got guys like myself, Andrew, as well as Matt in this race, and Eddie looking for that 2nd win to make sure we're guaranteed in. Mahu as well, but he's not in this race. There's I clipped the apron out of turns for a mistake from myself, and that left the door open right there for the 32, and everybody else on the inside to get through on that bottom. So now once again I was stuck on the top and really had nowhere to go. So I was very frustrated with that, and it was all my fault, of course. So I knew we were in trouble here as we went down the back straightaway, especially since we were now 3 wide here, by the way, with the 32 and the 12 of Cameron as we go down into the corner, just hoping something's going to work out. We make contact, actually, with the 32, and then up into the outside while I would go because of that contact. So now we drop down to 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, and I think even 18th potentially as we go down this front straightaway. So no, it looks like just 17th. So we would get back down to that bottom, though, and immediately start to gain ground, and of course it helps when you got cars crashing in front of you there, as we would gain some spots as we went down into turns 1. No caution, by the way, because it looked like it was only a 1-car incident actually at the end of that. Also, we would keep on going here, but now we're right in the danger zone at this point here. I did not feel safe whatsoever. I'm just hoping that everybody settles things out as we go down into turn 3, but now I'm going 3 wide in the middle on lap 89, and I forced my way through, get in front of the 17 out of turn 2. It was looking really good until I did that right there. I clipped the outside wall out of turns 2, and we're still though on the outside again. So I had made a big mistake, because now we're forced 3 wide into turn 3. It gets even worse, and I'm just hoping that something works out here, because we're just kind of stuck right now on the outside looking in of that top 10. We would again drop down to about P15, P16 as we went down into turn 3. Then there's a crash in front of us, the 19 of Matt. We go under the 19 of Matt as there's a big incident here in Atlanta. As you can imagine, the caution's going to come out. This time we race it back to the line. We beat Jay to the line. We get P12. So we would of course come back into the pit lane for 2 cans of fuel, 4 fresh tires, get back going underway here for another restart here. I chose the outside on the choose cone. Do not choose the outside on the choose cone. I learned that very quick again, like I said, but now as we go down into turn 3, fortunately, I had a good opportunity here to actually get down to the inside in front of Jay, and of course, being a teammate, he was very nice about it and let me in. So now out of turns 4, though, more trouble there. The 2 and the 12, they get together. Of course, they keep it going in the right direction at least, so then we would move all the way up into the top 5 just by running the bottom. So I was now behind the 94 of Eddie, who forces it up the inside of the 9 of Andrew Wisdom. They come together. They push all the way up the track. They, of course, have a history, as you guys know, if you've watched the past seasons of this league on the channel. We get through on the bottom. All of a sudden, somehow, we're up into the 3rd position here. So everything was looking pretty good at this point, to say the least. So then, now on lap 100, though, the 17 actually would sneak his way up my inside there as we came to the turns 4. So then, once again, we were stuck on the top, and I didn't know how this was going to go, because I saw that line of cars coming on the inside. So I was hoping I could just get in behind Andrew Wisdom and then actually hit the wall down the straightaway, and that would allow me, though, to get to that inside once again. So we would settle in here to P6 for the time being, but then down the front straightaway now, another caution had come out from a crash, so that was a race back to the line right there. So we had come back into the pit lane for 2 cans of fuel, 4 fresh tires. No adjustments at this point was being made to the car, because I was happy with where it was. I felt like we had top 5 speed at the least. We just, of course, have to get that track position. And you see where I was now, outside of the top 10 on the restart, now inside the top 10. It helps, of course, when the car right in front of you gets taken out by the 95. Now, as they would go crashing again down the back straightaway, and it looked like that might have been multiple cars, so that was another caution. So we got back going for another restart here as we went down this back straightaway on lap 120. And things definitely got crazy here in this third and final stage, at least for this short period of time. Now, for a good 15-20 laps, things were just all over the place now. So we came through out of turns 4, and you're just going to see how crazy it was getting throughout this final stage now. So we do get clear, though, of the 18 of Bryson. It was looking like things were going to be calm here for the brief amount of time as we go down into turns 1 and 2. But then into turns 3 on the same lap, here's where it once again starts to kick off. I get turned down towards the pit lane. We save it somehow, but they all go crashing behind us. Cars are going by on the outside, cars are going by on the inside through the grass. And we come through across the line to get P12 once the caution comes out, and we will get back going for another restart on lap 125. And then this time I get cleaned out right here by Matt Chaffee, who got hit all over the place. I go airborne. Fortunately, we keep it on 4 wheels, but then 2 cars crash. Caution comes out again, so we would come into the pit lane, 2 cans of fuel, 4 fresh tires, and then we went up a little bit further from the choose cone rail. We were up to P14, so we gained, 3 spots there from the choose cone, and we'll get back underway on lap now 131, which meant 30 laps to go here in Atlanta. And it felt like everyone just wanted to kind of have a short period of time where we just start to get our feelings out and crash everybody, and now it seemed like everybody was calming down, and we got back into the swing of things of getting back into legitimately racing. So Eddie was out front for this portion of the restart, and I was just making moves on the inside again here as we came through out of turns 2, going down this back straightaway here, right behind that 12 of Bacon as we go down towards turn 3, just kind of chilling in behind him. The 48 of Tyler just behind myself, of course, there. So everybody, look in front of us, every single car covering that inside at this point. But now on lap 136, the crashes had happened behind us. Caution out again, so we're racing it back to the line. Up the inside of the 12 right here. Out of turns 4, I clip the apron, slide up, completely clean him out. And unfortunately, Cameron goes crashing because of that after he came down and hit some cars. So he was, I heard, not very happy with me at all. I mean, I made a mistake and hit the apron. I mean, I don't really have much to say. But I felt bad for taking him out like that. But we will get back underway here now on lap 140. So only, 21 laps to go or so at this point. The 95 of Connor right there hits the apron a little bit, keeps it going though in the right direction. Fortunately, is Andrew Wisdom back out in front of the 19 of Matt. I tell you what, Matt has been running a lot stronger this season. I think he's actually going to be a legitimate competitor throughout the whole season if he continues at least what he's doing. We had a bit of a checkup right there, but fortunately both myself and Connor would continue to actually get back in front, move forward here into the top 5. So he was 3rd, I was 4th. Behind us we had Jonathan in 5th, Matt 2nd, and Andrew Wisdom in P1. So Andrew has to hold off pretty much 4 JGR cars right here for the final 15 laps of this race. Can he do that? We're about to find out as we go down into turns 1. We knew what the situation was. You can't pass on the top. I would get up the inside of Matt, who had actually got forced out to the top, and now we were 3 wide with him and Connor, who made a bit of a mistake there trying to push Andrew. So now all of a sudden I was the guy in position that had to decide, how am I going to pass Andrew Wisdom? Do I take it down to the apron down the back straightaway and make a move, or do I just try to sail him off into a corner? I decided to go for the tactic where I just try to push him into the corner and hope that he slides up the track, and that's what happens right here on lap 154. I try to sail him off in the corner. Well, doesn't help when I make a mistake like that, hit the apron, and we lose some time. But then I make another mistake in turns 3, the same lap, and that messes us up even more. But hold on, it gets better. Now Jonathan actually gets up my inside. I make another mistake. I hit the wall, and now all of a sudden we're going to go from a chance to win down to 4th place here with about 5 laps to go. I obviously want to fight really hard against Matt because we don't know what's going to happen. I'm trying to hold on to P3. So fortunately, I have help from Jonathan's draft. We actually get back clear of Matt as we went down into turn 3. Now, though, with approaching 2 laps to go, Jonathan decides to get aggressive, makes a move on Andrew Wisdom. Andrew covers him off into turns 3 there, as you saw them both on the apron doing whatever they can. So Andrew, of course, has to block, but Jonathan, he has to make the move. You're forced into basically running into each other, and I mean, in my opinion, no one's at fault for either one. So there's Jonathan, gets up the inside of Andrew Wisdom into turns 1. Andrew covers it off. They come together into the corner. All of a sudden, the door's open for myself here with 2 laps to go. I go up the inside 3 wide. We make a little bit of contact with the 20. Now at a turn 2, we're leading, but now Matt O'Brien looks up the inside. I give him the room he needs now, so Andrew Wisdom's taken right out of the picture after that big contact with him in the 20 of Jonathan. We're approaching the final lap side by side for the lead, and then Matt hits the apron out of turn 4. That opens the door for myself to have the run off. 3 wide, we get clear, coming to the final lap here in Atlanta. What a finish we're in store for all of a sudden as we go down into turns 1 for the final time. Behind us, you see a bunch of cars go crashing. I saw the green blob of the 18 car just go from one side to the other, and I'll show what happened in just a moment. That was why there was a suspension. You'll see what exactly happened here as we go down into turns 3 and 4 for the final time. So out of nowhere, some contact late in the final couple laps. We're going to capitalize on it after Matt makes a mistake as well, and we will win for the second time on the season and get our victory here in Atlanta and punch our ticket officially for sure in the playoffs. But here's what happened on the final lap to get the 18 of Bryce suspended. Right here, you're going to see him intentionally crash Andrew Wisdom right there. That is not acceptable in the Nitro Racing League. Never has been and never will be. So he is suspended for 1 week because of that incident. Like I said, it's not accepted to have a behavior like that. And of course, tempers sometimes get the best of everybody, and that's pretty much what happened right there. And unfortunately for Bryce, he's going to have to pay the price for that action that he committed right there on Andrew. And of course, it ruined Andrew's race. And I mean, I'm sure a couple others as well who probably got collected in that incident. Very unfortunate that it did come to that on the final laps. Now, as you see, though, the point standings on your screen. So we're 4th in the standings. We missed that race last week, so we're now 31 out, but we've got 2 wins, which surprisingly is the most, and we're now locked in to the playoffs. So, as always, if you guys enjoyed, you know what to do. I'd like to thank you all for watching, and of course, would like to say thank you to the Going Racing members on the channel of MJ, Joseph 9001, Timothy Arline, Bubba Jr., Brett Durward, Dark Gengar Gaming, AJ Vasur, Russell Dixon, Kenneth Barnett, Dana9302, as well as King Matt XL. I appreciate you guys' support so much, and I really do appreciate it. Thank you once again for watching and supporting. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day, everybody.